Welcome back here again with Andy Ross, the CEO of American Rebel Holdings. Andy, thanks for being with us once again. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
So, Andy, it's always a pleasure to have you here. What evidence do you believe there is to support that the home safe is eventually going to be as much of an appliance as a refrigerator or a washer or a dryer? Can you give us some insight there?
Sure, a few talking points. There's been a dramatic increase in new responsible gun ownership. You used to see violent activities that were taking place on TV, like in the city, and now it's moved out more into the suburbs. People are keeping more valuables at home. Nobody wants to see kids taking guns to school, and insurance companies are offering discounts and incentives to homeowners who have a properly installed fire-rated safe.
Okay, fantastic. Now, talk a little bit about how American Rebel is positioning itself to take advantage of that growth in the safe market.
We've just completed a capital raise and uplisted to NASDAQ, which was important to be able to start dealing with the pinned up demand we have for our product. We're working with a new manufacturing facility. We're also putting together our own manufacturing facility in Kansas, where we'll be launching a completely new model and line of safes, which we call our Freedom line. And we're also looking at some strategic acquisitions that would include not only picking up another brand, but manufacturing capabilities and a larger dealer footprint.
Okay, perfect. Andy, I've seen a statistic that there were 5.4 million Americans that bought a gun for the first time in 2021, so last year alone. How does that impact your business?
Well, first-time gun buyers, they did not grow up around guns. This new generation of gun buyers you're talking about, they've just now come to realize that they could use and need a firearm for protection. So these new gun buyers, when they're buying guns, they're immediately buying a safe. I mean, they may buy one or two firearms and a safe because they're already thinking about responsible gun ownership. Now, not like people who grew up with guns. I grew up with guns. Believe it or not, when I was in high school in a small town in southeast Kansas, we had trucks and we had guns in our back window. It was commonplace to go duck hunting or upland bird hunting even before school. And we grew up around guns. So a lot of these gun owners that grew up around guns, they may have 10, 12, 16, 18 firearms before they decide, hey, I might want to get all these put in one place and buy a safe. Also, the gun owner who grew up with guns, again, like I did, they're starting to come around and have been coming around for the last few years that, responsible gun ownership is where it's at. So you've got the new gun owner, the guy buying a gun for the first time, guy or gal, they're getting safes right out of the gate. And some of the longtime gun owners and people who participate in the shooting sports, they're coming around to realizing that responsible gun ownership is where it's at. Either way, we're all about the Second Amendment, and I'm very pro-gun. I'm concealed carry, but I do believe in responsible gun ownership. So we're feeding right into that market.
So, Andy, talk about the sales for the safes, right? Are all of your sales of gun safes for gun storage specifically?
Absolutely not. There is a growing trend in safe stores, safe only stores. These stores, they may have 180, 100, 200 safes on the floor. They may have 300 or 400 safes in a warehouse, and they're a big part of our business. Stores like Dallas Fort Worth Safe, Nevada Safe, the Nashville Safe House. And they've reported that about 30 to 40% of the safes they sell are really to non-gun people. People are buying safes, and this feeds in again to our narrative that the safe's becoming the new home appliance. They're selling to customers who want to protect things like passports, insurance policies, jewelry, cash, wills, car titles, vaccination cards, collectors of baseball cards, stamps, coins. And for the purchaser, it's all about someone breaking into their home, fire protection, and organization. Now they may have a gun, one or two. They may have a firearm, but they're not considered to be gun people. So even gun stores are selling safes to individuals that may not be their purpose at all, or their sole purpose for purchasing that safe.
So, Andy, given that a large percentage of your sales go to gun ownership, what is the growth looking like in the new gun owner market, especially considering the statistic from last year in 2021? What does the growth trajectory look like in that market specifically?
Well, in 2020, the FBI background checks hit over 40 million background checks for the purchase of firearms. That was a 40% increase from the previous record set in 2019. In fact, in March of 2021, background checks reached over 4.5 million for that 1 month alone. And that's why you see all the 130,000 FFL stores out there, and you see this growing trend in safe only stores opening up rapidly all across the country. We have a great store here in town, the flagship of safe stores, the Nashville Safe House in my hometown, that carries our product. But there's been 3 or 4 stores in the last 2 years, safe only stores, opening up in Nashville and the Nashville metropolitan area alone. So there's no doubt that we're on a massive growth curve.
Absolutely makes sense. Yeah, Andy, it's been great having this insight from you as always. Andy Ross, CEO of American Rebel Holdings, thank you as always for being here.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.